Hey again, it's me, Xerxes. I'm 19 now. It's January 1st, 2021. And I really started this video to talk about love. You know, I know I already talked about love in my previous video when I was talking about 2020 final thoughts. 2020, it was a decent year. Decent. There's a lot of shit going on, but as pertaining to me, it's not. It's just, I could be just the media filling up my head with whatever thoughts they want to fill up the head with. But I just wanted to talk about love because it's very important to me. And I actually just got done watching, or not just got done, but I was just watching this XXX Tentacion video, and I think the title was like heart to heart conversation. And that just really inspired me to talk about love. Just like X, and just like most real ones, it's always on my mind. I've been thinking about love since I could remember. I've been thinking about life since I could remember. And I previously aforementioned that I have this relationship with life. And it's so true. Like, I'm starting to realize that my relationship with life is my love life. Like, I operate on love, and my love life right now, it's slowly dying. It's slowly dying, and it's not a cool sight. I mean, at least for another time in my life, I could actually feel something, but it's not the best thing to be feeling. I've been losing my breath in my sleep and things like that, and Wake Up Dead, that's a good song. It's a good song to listen to by T-Pain featuring Chris Brown. It talks about falling in love with death and not wanting to be the one without a heartbeat when you wake up. And I totally understand that because, the woman of my dreams, literally, like when I go to dream about her, that's when I get this feeling of death. But I didn't come here to talk about death. I actually came here to talk about love, and honestly, like, recently I just haven't really been feeling it. And I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to get love back into my life. I'm doing my best to love my life. And back to what I was saying, my true love. It's like my perspective, like the feminine energy is my outlook on life. Whenever I'm hateful or spiteful or jealous or any negative emotion towards life, it manifests into the physical, and people start to have those negative feelings towards me. And so it's important to stay on the positive and love your life, because once you have unconditional love, you're in the moment, you're present, you love everything, and that's when your true love, aka your love life, aka your life, what you love, manifests into the physical and becomes your partner or whatever, to really escort you through that death phase. And I've been getting high recently, and I got high pretty recently, and it's like so high to where it's like things are starting to emanate from me, like the energy, like wave. I could feel this. I could see this like pulse coming from me, almost. It's like not invisible, but it's like subtle vibrations that's vibrating the aura around me. And it's a very powerful feeling. Like, it's powerful. And it almost feels like I'm dying. But when I have these little, when I have these vibrations emanate from my body, it feels like that's my way of staying alive. And it's very arousing. It's arousing. Not in the sense that it arouses like erections or it arouses my what's the word I'm looking for? It arouses like pleasure, you know. And it's like I know I shouldn't be thinking these things, but it feels right. It feels good, and it keeps me alive. And that actually got me thinking about like that song "Staying Alive." And the first opening line to that song is, you could tell just by the way I walk that I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. And it's like, man, fuck, I didn't get that until today, that this dude is just emanating, not this dude specifically, but what he's talking about is in his situation. He has to emanate this sexuality just to even stay alive, you know? Ha, 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 staying alive, staying alive. And that got me thinking. I was like, oh fuck, man, like that's probably what I was doing. Like, I have to stay alive somehow. And to me, it's pretty obvious that sexuality permeates everything. If you're the sexual king, aka the pinnacle of sexuality, then you're the king of reality in general. And I feel like my sexual presence is coming into the picture, and it's gonna be a little bit more than this third dimension. Like, once I really click, like I got that fire. I know I've always had that fire, but once it clicks, once it ignites, and once my soul's on fire, there's gonna be nothing stopping me. I'm gonna be insatiable. You know, I'm gonna be unquenchable, you know, like just gonna burn and go on forever. And I really do feel like the king, you know. And I think, like I was referring to in the other video, like I'm starting to carry myself like that a little bit more and a little bit more. Like I'm starting to carry myself with more respect for myself and more love for myself, because it's important. Because you know, if you don't love your life, if you hate your life, which is, you know, something I've been doing recently, I'm getting out of that mental space. But it's like asking for a death wish, and a death wish is the whole reason why it's even a thing is because it's real. You know, if you wish for your death, then life will be glad to give it to you. You know, it'll be glad to take it away. And that's why it's much harder to love than it is to hate. It's so easy to hate. But for me, I went to work, and this one day I just really felt like I was not giving the love that I was getting back. And, you know, I love in the way that I breathe. I love in the way that I look. I don't mean like the way that I look, but I mean in the way I look through my eyes. You know, there's just so much beauty in everything. And I just love. And that day when I couldn't, when I felt like I couldn't love anymore because I reached into my love bank and I had nothing left, I like became a savage. And you know, this has nothing to do with anything physical. This is all in my head, you know. I just adopted this mindset. And it was only for like 2 hours. I adopted this mindset that I was like, fuck this, fuck love, fuck everything to do with this shit. I'm not getting anything that I give. And it was a terrible feeling. So I had to make a switch. I had to put that fire on, and, you know, like I had to roll with the hate. You know what I mean? I had to roll with it, because when the love abandons, you gotta have something there. If there's nothing there, then you're gonna die. And you know, I was a savage for a couple hours, just my head, you know, just the way my body language was. I just did not give a single fuck about anything. I didn't care. But after a few hours, it just went away. Like, I couldn't maintain that savageness. I couldn't maintain that not giving a fuck, because ultimately I care, and I care too much about everything, you know? I care about the way a fucking bus driver treats his customers, you know? I care about how someone takes care of their car, you know? I care about how someone takes care of their baby. I care about how other people care about others, you know? And it's important for me. And the reason why it's important for me is to keep that, to keep those around me in the right place. You know, I can't stand for people that don't care about, like, other things and other people. Because to me, we're all connected. We are all one thing. And, you know, to really look out for another is to really be looking at myself. Like, this whole reality is a mirror, and I'm just straight looking at myself, you know? I got that epiphany one time when I was in my backyard, and it was really late at night, and I was gassed up, but it was this epiphany where it was like, oh my God, not only am I in my life, but I'm also in my mind. Like, this is all in my mind. Everything, like the physical features are in my mind. Like, everything out here is really all just in here. And, you know, that got me thinking about Morpheus when he was talking about how if life is only defined by the senses, you know, the look, the sight, the hearing, the touch, the taste, the smell, then it's nothing more than electrical signals getting sent to the brain. You know, so when Morpheus said that, that really gave me an insight as to, like, wow, this is all really in my mind. And that's where that saying, mind over matter, and that's so true, because if you could change your mind, you could change the course of your future. You could change the course of history and everything, you know. I've had another moment where I gave myself a chance to become present. And becoming present is a lot harder said than done. Or it's a lot easier said than done. And that's because, you know, like, I'm living right now. I'm looking at this camera. I'm speaking to it. But subconsciously, you don't notice it consciously, but subconsciously there's a little bit of a lag. And that's why when there's no lag, they call it live. Like Xbox Live, or like, oh, yo, I'm about to go live. And what's so special about live opposed to, like, recorded videos, like, for me, I'm recording this and it's live, but for you, you're gonna see it and it's gonna be like, oh, in the past, like a couple minutes ago, you just posted. But the beauty about live is that there's no lag. And when there's no lag, when you're live and present and fully present, your mind isn't anywhere else. You're not defined by your past. You're not even bothered by it, because you don't have the mental capacity to think it, because the only mental capacity you have is being filled up with this very moment. And it's such a beautiful yet sad sight, because it's almost like dying. You know, if you, I mean, at least from this side, aka like with a little lag, it seems like you die, because like, for me, like, I think about myself, and I think about a lot of memories. I have a lot of memories, a lot of things I've saved in the hard drive, you know. And for me, that's life, you know. That's life. Right here, right now is life, but also, like, everything that's ever happened to me is also life. And when you become present, you forget it all. It's like wiping the slate clean. And when you define yourself by having this life with memories, it almost feels like dying. But when you switch to the other side, when you become present, you take a couple deep breaths in and you're like, and you truly become alive. You truly see things for what they really are, when they are, which is at that moment. And when you get to that moment, that live moment, you realize that there's only one moment. And the reason why there's only one moment is because the moment never passes. The moment is just one continuous thing. It's always there. It's just one continuous thing. And it's the most beautiful yet saddening thing that one could ever experience. And the reason why I think that is because it's beautiful in the sense that, oh my Atlantis, it's like reaching the Garden of Eden. You know, lights become brighter. The lines that define things, like the shapes of things, become a little sharper, and it becomes sharper. And the sad part about it is you realize that not only are you in the moment, but you are the moment. Like this is you. This is me. I am looking at me right now. And the only reason why it's sad is because, you know, I kind of made that connection that this is me. And that's not even the sad part, but the sad part is looking into the past and being like, yo, I really was that. That was me. I can't believe that. Like, I willed that into life. I willed that into reality. And, yeah. Another sad part about it is that there is only you. That is the only thing that there is. There is only you. There is only I. We're not separate. And it made me feel a little lonely. Like, oh my God, I'm really out here alone. And, you know, I know there's been a lot of similar experiences to this in the human psyche and the human consciousness. But this life is a new one. I could tell some people are just on kind of autopilot. They're kind of programmed. And for me, I took those hinges off, and I was able to steer my own boat, you know, to drive my own sex drive, you know. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what you could do with it. But, you know, it's everything. It's everything. Life is everything, you know. The only reason why we have words is to describe life, to describe it, to describe what we're feeling. And, you know, that brings me back to the word it. Like, what is it? You know, you've heard the expression, like, is it worth it? Is it worth what? Is it worth living? Is it worth living your life? Is essentially what you're saying. And is it worth it? You know, is life worth life is what you're trying to say. And the short answer is yes, obviously. But the long answer is we have a lot of perceptions and programming that have caused us to think in a certain way that limit and hinder our ability to create. You know, like even languages. Languages help you articulate the point you're trying to get across. But with that comes language barriers. And not only language barriers, but the understanding of that language. Like, the same word could mean two separate, totally, completely things to two different people. It's really about what meaning that person gave to this word. And that's the thing, like, most communication is nonverbal. So it's like, really, if I wanted to, I could walk throughout my whole life without even having to speak. Obviously, I speak because that's the status quo. You know, I would be able to understand somebody even if they haven't said a word to me. It's all about the look in their eye. It's all about how how they posture themselves and how their body language communicates to me, and that's pretty mind blowing in itself. That like all these realizations are like a no duh, but like I've separated the difference between recognizing something, which I've done my whole life, and actually realizing something, which I've barely started to do. And the difference is in recognizing you just accept as true what you see or what you feel or what you think or whatever you want to call it. But realizing is to make real, to realize. And when you start realizing things, the potential is limitless. It is limitless. Like you could do anything with realization. You could realize that you could actually fly. And yeah, I know I say that a lot, and that's I mean, it has yet to be done, but if people really truly believed Jesus like they say they do, then they wouldn't be so baffled at the fact that we are God. Not only are we creations of God, but we are God. And we can do what Jesus can do and more, type of thing. And I know, like, I drag this on a lot, but I can't get that off my mind. I can't give love. I can't get life off of my mind, because to me that's the most important. It is the most important. Like my will to live is based on the love that I give and receive. My will to live is based on how I perceive my life. And back to the talking thing. It's like, if you had a baby and you never spoke to them, and the only thing you did was look them in the eyes and feel for them, then I guarantee that they will be able to feel what you're feeling. They might not necessarily give it the same definition. They might call it what they want in whatever language that they're using. But ultimately, they will get the message across. And it doesn't have to be perceived or relayed in a certain way. It would probably work a lot better than language. The only reason why language is a thing right now is because somebody before you were born taught you how to do it, It's like two mirrors looking at each other. When you have two mirrors looking at each other, it's like an infinite expansion of those mirrors, of reflecting one another, And like, we know that whenever an image is reflected off of a mirror, it loses a small percentage of light. Not a lot of percentage, but very small. And when you repeat that process by reflecting the image, a lot of times, eventually you lose the image, which is why traditions change. And that's why teachings become skewed and things like that. So, I've never taken anything that anyone has ever said to me to the heart. And I mean that in the most literal way, because, even school, like they try and teach you and try and tell you that this is the way it is. And if you don't agree with it, then you're crazy. Like science, for example, or like psychology, for example. It's like, sure, you could call it what you want, put whatever words to whatever definitions that you want to call it, and claim you know how I work and how I tick, but really you don't. Really, all you did as a student was take in somebody else's thoughts. And that's where thinking on your own becomes so important, because any formal education, any formal intelligence or or anything is just somebody else's thought, and they incepted you with it to make you on that same train of thought. But if you're on my level, then you could create your own train of thought. You don't have to rely on everybody else. And that's when it becomes a little scary. And it's not scary in the sense that, like, holy crap, yo, I'm creating my own thought. No, of course not. It's scary in the sense that those who can't create their own thoughts, those who are stuck in the system, those who cannot open their minds up to new possibilities, that are trapped to what they have been taught as children, to take whatever this title, to take whatever the title of this person serious and adopt it as your own. They're trapped and they're scared. And that the problem with this is that they're the majority. So if there's a saying, like, if you're one step ahead, you're considered smart. If you're 2 steps ahead, you're considered crazy or insane. And that's so true. I feel like so far ahead of the game that it's like not funny anymore. It's not fun. I'm so far ahead of the game where it's like, now I've tricked my own mind into thinking that these new realizations are off the wall. And to be honest, this is life. You know, everyone thinks, oh, this is everyday life. You know, you do all this, you get a 9 to 5, you have kids, you buy a house. It's like, no, this is life. Anything goes. Anything goes. You know, there might be a government right now that regulates everything, but ultimately that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a white canvas, and you're supposed to be able to do anything with it. This is life, you know? And it's a little selfish, but it's also unfair that I was born into this life, and somebody felt the need to stick their hand in my face and say, hey, you owe me taxes. Hey, you're going to have to do this in your lifetime. You're going to have to do this. You know, it's like, whoa, what happened to the natural part of it? What happened to letting me be? What happened to the human being opposed to the human doing, you know? And that's the thing about a job. It's like, I'm trapped in this 9 to 5, and it's like, I feel like, oh, I have to do this. I have to put clothes on my back. I have to have food on the table. You know, I have to have a place to sleep. And it's like, at some point, I'm gonna reach this peace of mind where none of that matters anymore. I'm gonna reach this peace of mind where I will no longer require any mental thought or even consciousness at all. And the reason why that is because you are so at peace in your mind that you're untouchable. You're essentially a god, and you just be human being. You know, there's so much more potential than what we give credit for. And the thing is, I really do feel like that missing link I don't know if that's the human DNA, if that's in the human spirit. It's somewhere. That's what I meant. Like, that's what I meant in those other videos. Like, there's something wrong, and it's there. I can't put my finger on it. But once I can put my finger on it, it's over. It's done. The suffering, it's done. The pain, it's gone. There's nothing to worry about. You know? Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Alright. And I truly believe that. Like, so many people are worried about how I, like, conduct myself, and it's like, wow. If you look at the grand scheme of things, we're gonna be golden in the cakes. Like, we're good to go. Like, you worry too much. Like, chill out. Like, can you live a little, you know? And yeah, basically that. All right, guys. This is Xerxes signing off.